Dreams do come true.
Hi everyone, my name is Brennan and welcome to
Brennan's Crafty Corner.
Hi everyone, my name is Brennan, and today, I cannot believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but I have a collection launching with WOW embossing powders. This is crazy, I genuinely cannot believe this happened, and I have a little backstory on how this all started because it's kind of funny. So I'm at Simmons College in Boston, which is a small college, and that's where my school takes our AP testing. So just as I'm about to go into my last AP test, my environmental science exam, I just check my phone one more time, and I see an email from Mare in Emberson. And she says, "Hi Brennan, I've been chatting with Richard and Holly, two other people who work at WOW, and we'd like to ask if you want to create some of your own colors." I'm like, where are the cameras at? Where are the cameras at? This prank. And clearly it was not. And then I spent the entire test thinking about this, not really focusing on the test. I luckily still got a 5, so thank whatever scientist was watching over me that day. I just couldn't believe it was happening then, and I kind of still can't believe this is really happening even now, with powders in hand and cards made. This release is entitled Earthly Marvels, and it's inspired by the world around us. And I just have to give a huge thank you to every single person at WOW, to Marion, Holly, Richard, Tasha, and everyone behind the scenes that I may not have been interacting with, but absolutely made this possible. I want to thank the incredible design team at WOW and the guest designers for creating beautiful samples, and I just want to thank you all watching this video. Whether you just found me or you've been watching me since I started on YouTube and following me since way back when I started on Instagram, you have been part of this journey and made me standing here today with this collection possible. So thank you all so much. And there have also been people in the crafting community and in the crafting industry as a whole that have just been so kind to me and so helpful at getting me places and making connections for me that I wouldn't have been able to do on my own. And that is truly how I got here today with this collection in hand and ready to show you these amazing embossing powders. So without further ado, let's get into this video.
So, are you ready to see these powders? We're going to start off with the Pinktastic duo, which has 2 pink embossing powders, which you probably can tell by the name. And these are Sakura Bloom and Pink Sapphire. So Sakura Bloom is a beautiful light pink that's inspired by cherry blossoms, and it's just super light pink. It has some cream color in there, a little bit off-white, I guess you would say. And it's just really pretty. Next up is Pink Sapphire, and it's a darker pink that has almost fuchsia in it. And a secret about this powder, it was actually an option given to me for Sakura Bloom, and I loved it. And I'm like, we have to keep this. We have to make it its own powder. So we did, and that's how we got Pink Sapphire. So now we're going to move on to the 4 standalone powders. We'll start off with the purple, which is Dried Lavender. This purple has some flecks of silver in there. I really love lavender flowers, so I was like, you know what, let's include this in the collection. And we're going to have it be a little bit different than your normal flower-inspired powder because, you know what, it's dried, it's dying, but you know what, it's still beautiful at the end of the day. And this is a little bit darker on camera for whatever reason than it is in real life, but it will be a little bit lighter if you can see into that jar. So here is Dried Lavender. Next up, we're going to move on to our 3 bluish greens, because of course you have to have 3. I love blue and green. So first up, we have Aurora Borealis. So this is inspired by the Northern Lights, and it may look blackish when you first look at it and not shine it into the light, but then when you do hit that light, you can see the gorgeous greens and blues in there. It's supposed to be subtle when you're just looking it straight on, but then bam, it's just packed with so much sparkle and color once it hits that light. So next up might be my favorite powder, and this is Frosted Glacier. It just has some icy blues in there, a little bit of green, a tiny, tiny speck of white, and it is so gorgeous. As you can tell, Frosted Glacier is inspired by glaciers. I thought glaciers are really beautiful, and if we can capture that in a powder, it would be great. And this was spot on. I absolutely love this. This is my favorite of the collection, and yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm gonna say gorgeous and beautiful and pretty so many times. It's fine. And then lastly, the first color I came up with is Mare. So Mare is the Latin word for ocean or sea. I had to take Latin for 4 years of my life against my will, so I was like, you know what? we're gonna honor that experience and we're gonna put it as an embossing powder. I tried to capture the Caribbean sea vibes where it's some really pretty blue or aqua water, and then it has some seafoam on top, so that's why you have little white specks in here. And this is probably my second favorite powder. I really love this one too. If you heat this up for longer, you can get almost a marbling look with that white, but I try to go fast with it so you can see the dots more clearly. But in that center, you can see it started to almost marble, so if you hold your heat for long enough, it will. Now that you've seen all the powders, let's get crafty. I'm going to be using Sakura Bloom and Pink Sapphire for the first card we're going to make today. So we're going to be doing a little bit of masked stenciling. So I've cut this oval out of just some regular cardstock, just a regular A2 size card front, and we're going to put it on the front of another A2 size card front. So you could actually get 2 card fronts out of this. I'm not going to do that. So do as I say, not as I do, because we're going to stencil over this and this is going to be here, so you could potentially use that outline as another card front. We're also going to be using the Stacked Blocks stencil from A Colorful Life Designs, and that's the stencil we're going to be stenciling through. So firstly, I just want to add a little bit of anti-static powder to this background. So here's the thing, WOW embossing powder is anti-static when they put it in the jars. They somehow do that. I don't know how they do it, chemistry, science, something like that. So you technically don't have to do this, but I just always like to do it just for like an extra level of caution. So we're going in here with an anti-static powder bag. Now I'm just going to take that little mask we made and I'm going to line it up as best as I can because the oval is pretty much in the center. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape here to the sides so the mask stays where I want it to. Okay, so our mask is on. So now I am going to pull out my stamp wheel just to hold the stencil in place. And I'm going to line this up. I'm trying to get that little middle one in the center. I'm going to call that good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a handmade card, not a Hallmark card, people. Remember that. Now I'm just going to go in with a WOW embossing ink pad, and I'm going to just smoosh it on. So press, squish, move, press, squish, move. Now, Mare and Emerson typically suggests using a brayer, and while I normally would support that for a stencil, I don't know. So like if you're just doing a background, definitely use a brayer. We won't be doing that today though, on a different card because, you know, my brayer is covered in paint. So if you do decide to use a brayer, I would say maybe have a brayer for ink and then a brayer for paint. So your one for ink doesn't get caked up. So we're just gonna smoosh this all over and I think we are just about done. Oh Lord. So now we can peel this back and we can see that pattern in there and it's looking great. So we can just peel this up or try to peel it up. And now we can just peel off this mask. And there we go. So I do think I missed some areas of the oval, honestly, but you know what? It's gonna have a mixed media look and I'm honestly fine with that. So now we're gonna go in, like I said, with Sakura Bloom and Pink Sapphire. I'm gonna go in with Pink Sapphire first because I just feel like it. So we're gonna cover most of it in this color, but not all of it. We do wanna leave some areas open for our Pink Sapphire to go. Okay, I think that's about good. So basically, almost all the area is covered with our Sakura Bloom, but there's definitely still a little bit that will go in with that Pink Sapphire. Now we're gonna go back in with another powder, which is the Pink Sapphire. And this time, instead of, you know, just sprinkling on, we're gonna go full throttle here and just toss it over the entire oval because we're crazy like that. And now we pour. Oh, it is actually basically a perfect oval. That's great. I shouldn't doubt it myself. And look at that, it's looking great. I love the combo of these two powders together. That's why they're a duo. And now we're just gonna take our coffee filter, fold it, and pour. That's why I love using coffee filters for embossing. So now I'm gonna take my heat gun and warm it up, and I'm gonna heat it from under. Now it's very hard for me to show that on camera, unfortunately, because my phone is not super high, but just know I am embossing it from underneath so our powders don't blow away. And there we go. Look at that shine. Just look. Okay, these two colors, like I said, I really love how they look together. They look great together. So now we're going to go in and I think we'll add a die cut of some sort. So we have the background and we have the leaf die cut all done. So I'm debating. I could place this in the middle, which I like, or I could place it off to the side, which I also like. Or I could even do it off to this side. I think I'm liking it off to the side, off to the left-hand side the most. And I think I'm going to do it something like this, where it's almost like curving with the oval, at least partially. So I'm going to add the glue to the back of this die cut and do that. So we have the glue everywhere we need it. So now I can just press this down, trying to figure out to get like the exact perfect way. Okay. I think we're going to go like this. Bam. Okay, I'm liking that. So now all we need is a sentiment. So I pulled out the Label Love stamp set from Altenew, and I wanted something small so it would fit right here perfectly. So I decided to go for the You Rock sentiment, and I think that will fit there great. So I stamped out the sentiment in Versify and Clear, and now I'm just going to go around it and with some mini snips and cut it out. So I have the You Rock cut out, but as you can see, the top has a little bit of white. So I'm going to go in with my Copic marker, my black one, which is 100, and just go around that edge. And now you never knew that was accidentally white. So now I'm going to go around all the edges, just so if you see it from the side, you would never be able to tell it was on white paper. And now I think we're going to put it like right there. I could pop it up with some foam tape, but I'm not going to today. I feel like it should just be flat since it's clean and simple, so we don't need to be adding height. Or clean and simple. Do you think this card's actually clean and simple? Like, let me know. Because I think I have a very different definition of clean and simple than a lot of people. But I would say this qualifies. I would think so. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be the judge on that. So now I am just adding a little bit of glue to the back of this card front. Now we're going to put it on a card base and finish off the card. There we go. We finished our first card, which I'm going to officially rule as clean and simple. If you disagree, you can let me know, but I'm ruling it as clean and simple, and I really love how this card came out. It wasn't that hard to make. We just did some really easy stenciling and doing a little bit of masking with that stenciling, with the Sakura Bloom powder, and with the pink sapphire, and I think it's a really nice card. So with our pink card done, we're going to pull a couple more powders, and we're still going to use Sakura Bloom, but for this card, we're going to be using Frosted Glacier, Dried Lavender, Sakura Bloom, and Mare. And for this, we're going to be doing my favorite technique with embossing powder, which is creating our own custom colored cardstock. It's amazing, and you're going to see really quick how we do that. So our very first step is going to be to take our embossing ink here, and we're just going to coat this entire paper. And I think we are all good here. Let me just... Okay. Now we're just going to like hold this in the light really quick to make sure we have like full coverage, and I think we do. There's a couple areas over here that I just want to hit. Okay, so I think we're good now. Yeah, we'll call that good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take each powder and we're going to slowly sprinkle it on, but not go crazy. We want to leave room left. So firstly, we're going to go in with our Frosted Glacier here, and we're going to take a metal little spoon from Nuvo. You want to use metal with these embossing powders because it won't add any static to the jar. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're just going to gently, not like that, but we're just going to gently tap it on. I kind of went a little too hard with that, but it's okay. So what we're purposely trying to do is get some coverage, but not total coverage, if that makes sense. So there's still some areas left for us to add more colors of powder. Also, I would suggest if you have an overhead fan, you might want to turn it off for this technique, because it's very possible to get it to blow everywhere. As you can see, when I was doing it, it was kind of blowing, nothing too crazy that I couldn't manage, but just be careful. So we took all of the excess powder off that paper, put it into our coffee filter, and now we're just gonna pour it back into our jar. So now we're gonna move on to our next color, which let's do Sakura Bloom next. So this is from the Pinktastic duo, as you guys probably remember still. And now we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're just gonna tap it on kind of gently, so there's still definitely more room for more powder, but we want to get decent coverage so it at least kind of shows up. Okay, I think that's good. So once again, we're just gonna tilt any excess powder off. We can do a little tap, and as we can see, it's starting to fill up really nicely, but there's still definitely some room left. So now we're once again gonna pour all of our excess back into the jar. For this technique, I would say it's also probably a good idea maybe to use a larger coffee filter if you have one, or a sheet of printer paper will also work just as nice. That way you can like have a bigger work area in case some of the powder does blow. Next up, we're gonna go in with our dried lavender here, which is our purple. We're gonna go back in with that tool, and once again, we're gonna keep doing the same thing. Now, dried lavender does have those larger silver flecks in there, so those may not stay stuck onto the card, but that's okay. They'll just go back into the jar. And now we're gonna do our big tilt. Get ready, tilt. So yeah, you can kind of see that purple in there a little bit. It's much easier to see it in person, but all the colors are almost gonna start to blend together when we look at them, which gives it like a really cool effect. So now, like we've been doing, excess powder back into the jar. And now it's time for our last powder, Mare. So this one gets done a little differently. We kind of just pour and coat this whole paper in Mare to fill in any gaps that are left from the previous colors. Like with the purple, the larger white chunks likely aren't going to stick, and that's totally okay because we're just using this for the turquoise powder and not for the white. Before we coat the whole thing though, I am actually going to take these edges and tilt it off, and then we can go back in and do that other edge at the very end. So tap, tap, and then we'll come in down here at the end and just go in and coat that and make sure there's some powder down there too. And now we can tilt that off. And as it falls, it will hit any areas that were left. Tap, tap. And look at this gorgeous panel. It looks so cool. I absolutely love this. So now we just have to heat this up. We just have to get this Mare back in its jar. Okay, this one's kind of scary, guys, because look at all the powder. We can't mess this up, people. We can't mess this up. Hold your breath. And there we go. Mare successfully back in its jar. So now we have our panel here. We need to heat it up. I will always suggest for doing a project like this where you have so much powder, heat it from the bottom, at least at first. That way you can kind of start to lock the powder in place. So that's what we're going to do here.
I just wanted to show you a little bit of melting the powder down because it's so magical when you see it start to melt and it starts to just look so amazing. And there it goes. And I love embossing powder.
So everything is all melted and we have this gorgeous panel here. Now, in person, it's a little bit more vibrant than on camera, honestly, but I still think it's beautiful either way. We have our purples flowing through, a little bit of pink and quite a lot of blue, but I really love it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Essential Stylish ovals from Spellbinders and I'm going to die cut out an oval from this cardstock we've made. I'm honestly not sure what size I want to do. Maybe something like this. I think, yeah, this is the third largest size, and I think this will be good because we'll keep a lot of the panel, but we'll just have a little bit of white space around the edges. And now we're just going to run that through the die cutting machine. So we have our oval all die cut out, and now you may be questioning, hey Brennan, you didn't use Aurora Borealis in this video at all. Well, I am 2 steps ahead of you because we have Aurora Borealis right here, and we're going to use it for our sentiment. So we're doing exactly what we did before, inking up a piece of cardstock here with some embossing ink. I'm not going to do the full panel because I know I'm not going to need the full panel. We're just going to die cut out a sentiment. I'm thinking it's going to be a rather large sentiment, so that's why I'm doing most of the paper, but I don't think I need to do all of it, so I can conserve a tiny bit of ink. So this is nice and coated, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Aurora Borealis and I'm going to sprinkle it on like there's no tomorrow. And now we can dump it away. Now we have our basically Aurora Borealis cardstock. So now I need to heat this up, so I'm going to do it like before where I heat it from the back so we don't blow any powder off. So we have our panel all heated up and melted now, and just look at all of that shine, just those blues and greens, like, I love this powder so much. Okay, with everything here embossed, it's time to start adding our sentiment and finishing up this card. So I have this thank you die that I'm going to use. So I'm going to cut the actual letters out of the Aurora Borealis powder, and then I'm just going to do the backing in white. Our sentiment is all die cut out, so now it's time to glue the words onto their shadow. And there we go. Our Aurora Borealis sentiment is done, and like, look at all that shine. I'm loving it. So now all we really have to do, I think, is put this down onto the card. Okay, so what we have here now is we have our card base. We have what I cut the thank you shadow out of. We can use this to pop this up on. I just prefer the tone of this white cardstock opposed to my card base cardstock. So that's the reason I'm using it opposed to the card base cardstock. And then we have our sentiment, of course. So what I'm just first going to do is I'm going to glue down our card front, I guess. to our card base, just so it's one piece and easier to deal with. And now we're going to take our little embossed oval here and we're going to add some foam tape to the back of it. We're also going to be playing a game. Do I have enough foam tape? Ooh, we're going to have to use this kind of sparingly right now because, yeah, this is kind of mostly it. I think I have some more, but this is like the only one I have in this height. So, yeah, we kind of don't have a lot here. I would normally be using way more than I'm using right now, but I just want to get it all popped up, and if it's not the best, it's fine. I just need it popped up. Okay, now I'm going to take this little piece, put a tiny bit up here, and a tiny bit down here, and like I said, could be worse. There we go. It's a mess, but it will work. Okay, so we have all of our release paper off there. So now we can do my least favorite card making task of aligning our little oval here up on the paper. Oh gosh, I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared. Could be worse. Okay. And now lastly, we're just going to take our thank you here and we're going to glue this onto that oval and then we're done. And there is our finished card. I love this. This is really simple, but I think really pretty. Another thing you could have done is add a cover plate over this embossed oval. That would have also looked really amazing. But just look at that shine, y'all. Loving it. And I just want to share this card I did right when I got these powders in hand. I was like, okay, I need to make immediately. This is very similar to the card we just did technique-wise for that background. I did the exact same thing with all the same colors we did in the background for the card we just made. I did a rectangle card in normal A2, and I did put a cover plate die over it. So just a little bit different, but I really like how this one looks as well. So I wanted to share it just for a little bit more inspiration.
Okay, so now we're at the portion of the video where I'm done card making, but I want to show you some incredible samples from members of the design team and people who are also guest designing this month for WoW. Just a quick note, I didn't have samples from every single guest designer and design team member when I filmed this video and when I made these graphics, so I wasn't able to include everyone. So if you're excluded and wondering why, that's the only reason. It's not because I didn't like your cards. I'm sure I absolutely love them. I just didn't get to see them and didn't have the photos in hand when making these graphics and making this video. So I do apologize. Firstly, we have this incredible art journal layout from Aditi. She is absolutely amazing and this is so creative. This is something I never would have thought of, but creating an entire scene with embossing powders and dies and stamps, it's literally just incredible. She created this amazing scene out of every single embossing powder from the Earthly Marvels collection, and it just looks so amazing. It looks so marvelous. Next up, we have this awesome, honestly, piece of art from Lydia. She used the Pinktastic duo, and it's just so cool. It has a perfect vintage vibe, and I absolutely love it. I also love the pearls and the roses. Next is this gorgeous Christmas card from Caitlin. I, of course, had to use the Christmas card from Caitlin because she does not love Christmas too early. But she made this, and you know what? I'm gonna say it's Christmas, and I'm gonna annoy her about that, but I love it. It's clean and simple, and it's like the perfect vibe. It's just so much fun, and I absolutely adore it. Next up, we have this adorable card from Michelle. She used both Frosted Glacier and Mare. She used it to create almost a pool or ocean effect, and I love it. These powders work so well for that. Now we have this Penguin-tastic card from Kuyen. This is so adorable. I love how she gave a mixed media look with the Aurora Borealis and then used the Frosted Glacier as a glacier almost, or as some ice, or maybe an iceberg, and I absolutely love it. It's just so cute. Now we have this really fun card from Natasha Davies. She created basically a makeup set out of the embossing powder, which is so cool. It's just so much fun. This is a really perfect birthday card. Now from Emily, we have this gorgeous mixed media card. I love how she used dried lavender literally everywhere on this card. In the background, I believe it's stenciled or stamped on, and then she used it on the leaves, and then she almost encrusted the flowers with embossing powder. That is so cool. It gives such a cohesive look to the card, and I really love it. And it's flowers. Are we shocked I liked it? And then lastly, we have another floral card from Michelle. She used Aurora Borealis here to create these amazing flowers. I'm sure the shine on them is absolutely incredible, and this card overall is just really incredible. It's a simple background which lets the floral bloom and shine on its own, and I absolutely love it. Are these samples incredible? I really love these so much. They're so varied, they're so amazing, and it just shows the absolute beginning of what you can do with the Earthly Marvels collection. Like I said before, I genuinely cannot believe this is actually real and actually happening. It's just been a dream of mine for genuinely so long to have a crafty product with my name on it, and the fact that it's come to fruition, it means so much to me. I've had a Google Doc for years with different ideas on it, whether it was stamps, dies, stencils, embossing powders, or products that don't even exist yet that I wanted to create. They're all on that document, just ready, just in case I was given that opportunity. And WoW gave me that opportunity, and I am so thankful for it. So once again, thank you so much to everyone at WoW for making this possible. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you stay tuned because there's going to be way more content coming at you. I'm sure a bunch of the design team members and guest designers have incredible cards made on their Instagrams, on their YouTube channels, on their blogs, so make sure you check them all out. And also, on Friday, I'm going to have another video and a hop to go along with it, and there'll be a hop on Instagram, YouTube, and on the WoW Embossing Powder blog. I don't have a blog, so I won't be doing the blog one, but I'll be doing the Instagram and the YouTube one. So make sure you stay tuned for all the embossing powder content that's going to keep coming at you for the next week, and probably well beyond, because I'm not going to just stop using the powders after. No. We're going to keep using these. So thank you guys so much for watching, and whether you've been a long-time subscriber or just finding me now, thank you for being a part of this amazing creative journey I'm on. And once again, a special thank you to WoW for about the 1000th time for giving me this opportunity. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and bye everyone! Happy crafting!